Alrighty, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. What's going on? So, latest thing that I've been doing, kind of added to my ETH long that I've been in. Keep rinsing and repeating. Sometimes you got to rinse and repeat a lot of times, but don't worry, it's good to rinse and repeat because when you keep adding to a trade that's already in profit and trimming off some profits as you go all the way up based on resistance points and whatnot, you can make a lot risk free. Like I just keep, adding to this trade and shaving a little bit off. Probably should shave a little bit off now, but I think we're going to get up to 4,100, and I'll tell you why, kind of on the charts in just a second here. But I think, a lot of opportunities in the market still. Powell's going to speak tomorrow. Look, I mean, the thing is, people always, and I mean, fundamentals, it's good to follow, what's going on and all that stuff. I'm not against it, but, the way I do things is, like 90%, 90 something percent, just based on the technical analysis, based on the charts and all that good stuff. So, I think that's all you need a lot of times. But, fundamentals, you could kind of tell, maybe I shouldn't be going long ever on some, complete scam meme coin. You get what I mean? But, yeah, so ultimately, if you guys want to make these trades, I'll show you guys this. I mean, trading volume, get some nice bonuses in BloFin, 20% off your fees for life. You sign up with my link down below. 20% off your fees as well on BYDFI, and then trading bonus up to 10K worth of Bitcoin, which it's cool. And 25%. So, pros and cons to all these. 25% off your fees for life, and I think there's a deposit bonus on Bitunix as well. That has the most discount on the fees, 20% off for life. So check out the links down below if you guys are interested in making some of these trades. And don't forget, if you sign up to any of the links down below, deposit at least $100. Make sure you open a support ticket with your UID or your email, and we'll give you one free month in Aldo Empire VIP Discord, where all these trades with stop losses, take profits, all that is given to you. Mainly swing trades that I do. We got Nightshade in there, he does well. K-Max in there as well. So a lot of really good people in there, really good community, and ETH is jumping right now. So let's get into it right now. I mean, Bitcoin, little freebie. This trade could potentially work. I mean, you're kind of in an ETH season, so I would be more inclined to try to hope that Bitcoin goes kind of sideways and lets people get bored with it and has, ETH continue forward. But I do think that you got a decent shot. Like, I think we're going to stay bullish. My guess, like mid-October, and potentially kind of staying in this range, maybe breaking up to 130, high 120s for Bitcoin, while ETH breaks up to its old all-time high around 4,800. So, nothing looks too bad as of yet. I would be kind of maybe looking at this next red dot on the weekly. When could that happen? I mean, a couple more bars, yeah, mid-August. And that may finally, if you were to come up a little bit higher here, that may start like a mid-August to mid-September correction or something. You may come back down to these levels or something, I would guess maybe up to 20% correction back to 100. I don't know. Let's take things one day at a time here. So yeah, and ETH, the big sign that I've been kind of looking at. Well, I mean, you got a lot of these trigger waves. They haven't given you much yet. Little, another one right here, and I think any of these could potentially break you up to 4,100. So I think that's kind of your next thing here, and that's kind of what my trade right now, if you got your stop loss and entry point, is kind of what my trade is kind of betting on now. And if it gets stopped out, no big deal because it's a risk-free trade. You could, try to enter this right now. Not a terrible idea, I don't think. I mean, 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio right here. You could win, be plenty profitable just winning half of your trades with this strategy. And I know I don't mention it too much, but I do have a link down below for breakout if you guys are interested in prop trading too. That's pretty good for especially learning how to trade, because if you got to pass an evaluation and all that stuff, so you lose less and you get to keep up to 90% of your profit. So it's pretty good. If you're a really good trader, it may be better to trade with your own money, because you get to keep everything, and there's no, like, you're not going to get bit blocked out of the account if you lose more than, I think it's 5%. But I have had good success on breakout as well. But it looks continuation here on Ethereum, that 2-day, and the money flow coming up. So everything generally looks still very good in the macro. I mean, it's not impossible for you to break down to 3,200 this area. I think this is like a hard line in the sand, like a hard support right here. And I kind of really don't think that you're going to lose it. Like, I don't think you're going to lose it until probably next year. Like, and I mean, I know I was watching Crypto Face's video. Shout out to Crypto Face. Looks like he's been freaking killing it lately. Dude's doing amazing. Man, $15 million trades. You guys obviously know who Crypto Face is. So I don't have to tell you about Crypto Face. You know about Crypto Face. But, I mean, I think he was talking about, what was he talking about? Yeah, ETH potentially breaking upward. Now I forgot what what he was talking about. I think it was ETH breaking upward or whatever. That was kind of, oh, super cycle. Yeah, it was super cycle. I don't think that, look, the thing that I want to say here, guys, is he was talking about how you don't have to sell all your stuff. You could keep some of it in case there is a super cycle. But I do think if there's a super cycle, like it's not going to be it's not going to be like freaking ETH's going to 20K next year. Like maybe it could go to like 11K or 10K if there is a super cycle. But the thing you got to realize too, and on a lot of these is that, ETH versus, we'll talk about that in a second when we get to altcoins, but I just want to, Bitcoin dominance I think will generally go down. We don't need to talk about that. But Ethereum versus S&P 500, for example, this generally bleeds in these, 18 here, this bled, talking about things to convert potentially ETH into when you make a lot of money. You would have gotten a lot more here. You would have, gotten a lot more there. We could look at also SPY versus Bitcoin here. In the bear market years, 700%, 400%. I mean, it's less every time because of less volatility and higher market cap of Bitcoin. But even if you get 100%, even if you kind of double your Bitcoin valuation in something safe, generally safe, let's say, like the S&P 500, or even gold versus Bitcoin, there's things I wouldn't put it into the damn US dollar. We all know it's similar to gold versus gold versus Bitcoin, similar to SPY versus Bitcoin. And the things you could look at potentially to start converting over is probably, okay, that's a deep anchor wave. Okay, these weren't the best anchor waves I'm trying to think if there's like an area. Yeah, more deep anchor waves, maybe the next deep anchor wave into October to end of year or something like that. I mean, how much more will this come down? Probably around here or something. But it doesn't look really bottomy yet, although it was kind of, yeah, okay, you had the kind of that area there, that area. This wasn't the best indicator here, unfortunately, on kind of when to convert over. But in the 4-year cycle, it was quarter 4 essentially. So that's what we got to keep in mind. Moving on to like kind of altcoins, other than Ethereum right now. This is really interesting on ETH versus others. It peaked out against altcoins in July, or excuse me, it was August, like early August of 21. My guess would be kind of the same thing here. A couple more weeks maybe, that area, and then you start seeing the majority of altcoins outperforming Ethereum. This is others versus Bitcoin. I guess as long as you kind of hold this low right here, that area, that's important to keep here, and that may show some more momentum. Rare bullish sign for the first time ever on this monthly, first like deep anchor wave. See the green dot below. So that could be, some increase, maybe back up to these highs, maybe all the way back up to here. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. Altcoins in general, if you look at like others, rare bullish sign right here, trigger wave on the 5-day. So, I think your average altcoin, I think we could get up to kind of these areas, 100% or more, 2 to 3x for your average altcoin, something like that, into the next few months, into the end of the year. A lot of money could come in quick. We'll see what Powell ends up doing. I have no idea. I could even see him putting it off until October, cutting rates, and then that may end of October may mark the whole end of this cycle. That's possible too. It's hard to say. A couple ones that look good. Already looks kind of good. Be careful with this, but I think kind of your freaking digital NFT stuff or whatever may come back a little bit in the next few months. A little hurrah, break upward to like 23 or more. It's not a ton, but and then Cardano, trigger wave right there. Like rare bullish signs across the bat. Like nothing looks too bad. Crow has been kind of jumping up, really, jumping up. Obviously pretty lackluster, compared to that high there. I want to look at because we're trying to, I would say outperforming ETH is the most important thing here. And if you look at Crow versus ETH, that bottom was in 24, so doing well there. You want to see things that are generally trying to outperform Ethereum right now. That's the big thing there. And I would say even Cardano, I'm curious how that looks against Ethereum. That area you might be able to hold where we're in the cycle. That area you might be able to hold. It could come down lower, who knows? But it generally does bleed against Ethereum. Be careful, but I think it can, jump back up a little bit. Old favorite Solana. You do have the blood diamond on the 20-hour. I don't know if that means too much. It could be like this, a jump right there. I could see you repeating this situation the last time you hit this point. When was this? In December. It could be kind of similar to that. That area, and then you kind of generally jump up into mid-August, 266 I think is possible. Yeah, 260 next couple weeks potentially. TRX has been one of the best performing cryptos as of late. That's up to this area. I don't see why you can't get up to 44 and then potentially Was that 55 by end of year, maybe even higher, maybe up to 86. I kind of don't think he would go all the way up to 122. That'd be pretty crazy. But $32 billion market cap, I could see it hitting 100 billion or something. TRX is a big contender, let's say. ETH versus Bitcoin, is going back to ETH, a little out of order, but I mean, it looks really good. Ethereum right now looks really good, and I think it'll at least get up to 0.05 again into the next few months here, and then I think we'll see what happens in 2026. So we'll definitely have to see what happens here, guys. But a lot of potential good trade entries. If you guys are interested in trading, making some of these nice swing trades, check out the Discord down below, and last but not least, check out the exchanges down below. A lot of really good discounts that you can only get with my link down below. So check it out. I'll see you guys really soon. Goodbye.